Well, I'm delighted to say that we've been joined by the RNA's Chief Executive, Peter Dawson. Thanks for dropping by to see us. This weather's testing the players, but I'd imagine it's almost testing you more, isn't it, here?
Well, it's been a challenge, I can tell you. The weather forecasting this week has been very difficult for the Met people, and we had quite a surprise last night with the amount of rain we had. I had a text at about 4 o'clock this morning saying we were in a bit of trouble, and when I got in here, not much after that, the place was pretty much awash, actually. And it's a miracle and a testament to the hard work of the green staff on the golf course and our contractors in the tented village and so on that we were able to start on time at 6:30. And we're having now a pretty successful day. At 4:30 this morning, I wasn't quite sure if we'd get underway at all.
I was going to say, how close did you come to this second round not happening today?
Well, actually, in the end, we didn't. The team that were out on the golf course soon radioed in and said the course is actually playable. And once we knew that, it was a matter really of working terribly hard in the tented village to get that ready. And whilst it's pretty soft underfoot, it's perfectly okay. And people are here, I'm glad to say, enjoying themselves.
Peter, you've been involved in many Open Championships now, and the tournament's developed a long way over the years. Where do you see it going over the next 5 to sort of 10 years? Do you have ambitions? Do you have things you'd like to achieve for the championship, or are you quite happy the way things are now? Well,
I think, it's obviously a big team effort, but I think we're generally happy with the development of the championship. It's holding its place as one of the world's leading sporting events and one of golf's majors, the oldest major, the most international. And every year we try to develop the championship a little more, both for the players in terms of the course condition, the course challenge that they face, but also the spectator experience. And there's a lot of modern things coming along for spectators in a new world to me, to be honest, that I hope you're not going to ask me too many questions about. But
well, we're part of the new world for you, actually, aren't we?
You are, absolutely. And this is another spectator enhancement, our own channel. And I know everyone enjoys watching it in the restaurants, in the tented village, in all the facilities, and it's terrific.
And aside from a successful championship in terms of all the hospitality and things like that, our wonderful channel, of course, what makes a good championship for you? What's par in terms of the play? What do you want to see from the scores and the actual game of golf this weekend?
Well, I think the main essential ingredient for me of a good championship is that the players like the golf course, that they think it's fair, that it's a good challenge, they're enjoying playing it. And if the players are enjoying the course, we generally have a good Open. If the players think the course is bad for whatever reason, we tend to get a pretty bad championship, bad publicity, a lot of pressure. And I'm delighted to say that this year the players are loving the golf course, and that's what makes a good championship, despite the weather challenges we've had.
Peter, there was a time, wasn't there, where technology was very much the issue of the game, and there were real concerns about, well, how far can you stretch golf courses given the land restrictions and everything before it becomes ridiculous, and what do? Do you have to control the technology? Do you feel that has settled down now, or are you still keeping an eye on things?
Well, I do think it's settled down. Back in 2002, the RNA and our joint governing body, the United States Golf Association, we issued a joint statement of principles about technology, and we basically said at that time, there's a line in the sand, if hitting distances start to rise further, we will do something about it. And ever since that time, hitting distances have been on a steady plateau, and nothing has actually come into the game, either as golf balls or golf clubs, which of themselves will hit the ball further. Players seem to be getting bigger, stronger, better coached, but the actual average hitting distance on tour is very steady and level.
So what could you have done? I mean, did you have any ideas as to what you could have done? Is it like Jacklin, where you would have scratched it? You know,
control the ball, I suppose, is the big one.
I mean, obviously the club and ball combination is what propels the ball, the distance as it goes. Clubs are complex to control in that sense, and the ball is perhaps the easier one to attack. But ball manufacturers, of course, would have something to say about that. But reining the ball back is the accepted, I suppose, likely way of doing something about it, if the need ever arose. But right at this moment, we think things are steady and the technology issues calm down.
Apart from, I keep hearing people talking about belly putters, Peter. Are you going to ban belly putters?
Well, a lot of talk about this, and there's no doubt that the subject is very much on the radar of the RNA and the USGA. I said earlier this week that I think we're going to be saying something in a matter of months rather than years about what our position is. It's too early to say what that will be, but I think we owe it to the game with so much speculation to make a statement really quite soon.
The way you obviously can't say anything more. I suppose the way I would look at it is, well, long putters have been around for quite a long time now. So, what would the rationale be behind banning belly putters if long putters have been around for so long and have been allowed to be used in competition?
Well, I think the issue is whether an anchored stroke is really a golf stroke, irrespective of how long it's been around. Of course, I think from memory, the first belly putter we saw was actually Phil Rogers, who lost in a playoff here to Bob Charles in 1963. He was essentially putting at that time with a belly style. So both have been around for quite some time. But the usage on tour has increased considerably in the last year or two, and we are seeing it start to come into even the junior game. And there are I know quite a lot of people in golf who feel maybe this isn't a golf stroke that should be allowed. But as I say, the matter's on the radar, and we'll be saying something fairly soon.
Sorry, I'm nodding at host because I feel so rude. You're busy talking, and I'm looking at this because we've asked the punters, the public, the fans, whatever you want to call them, to come up with some questions for you. Fine. And I've got two here, and the first one may be tad contentious, which is why I was just sort of looking at it, wondering if you were going to be happy to answer this. But I'm going to have to fire it at you now because well, you've looked at me. Ian Hilston has said, when is the Open coming to Royal Portrush?
Interesting question. Of course, there's been huge speculation about that. Firstly, because of the success of the players from Northern Ireland, Rory, Graham McDowell, Darren Clarke, and so on, and also the great success of the Irish Open played there very recently. And it was great to see that come through so well, and so many excited spectators from Ireland watching the event. The Open Championship is, and I'm not trying to talk down the Irish Open in any way, it's a considerably bigger event. I think they had about 2,000 grandstand seats at the Irish Open. We have 20,000. The tented village here was at least 10 times the size of what was there. So there are questions about infrastructure capability, the actual cost of going there, because the Open Championship needs to be commercially successful because of our golf development activities. The money the Open makes goes to help the game. And the whole infrastructure, travel, hotels, all of that has to be considered. But the R&A has committed to look at this from Royal Portrush, and we are going to be doing, we've done some work on it already. We'll be doing more work on it in the coming winter to see what we make of it. We have already announced championship venues up to and including 2016, so this is by no means an imminent thing. And the R&A has to be very careful with the Open, make sure it's a success, and we'll be taking the time to do all the study work we have to do.
Okay, thank you. And then the next question, well, we sort of addressed this with Johnny Cole-Hamilton earlier, but Sean Starr says, why didn't they empty the water from the bunkers? Well, you did, didn't you? Some of it, anyway. Oh,
very much so. But the problem we have at the moment is that the water table is actually higher in the ground than the base of the bunker. So as soon as you take the water out, it fills up again. And that's because the water table, because of the amount of rain we've had this summer, is actually at above winter levels at the moment. It's quite extraordinary.
You've got the pumping station, haven't you?
We've got pumps going, the pumping station at the far end of town, but there's a lot of water in the ground, and we need the general level of water, groundwater, to fall before the bunkers will stay completely dry.
Okay, well, you're off the hook now. Those are your tweet questions.
Peter, we know you've got to go now. Just before you do, though, obviously Lytham is very much associated with Sebi. We know that the R&A presented a portrait to the club, and that's been put up there, which is lovely. What are your favourite memories of Sebi? Would it be at St Andrews? Would it be here? Or?
Well, he won the Open Championship 3 times, twice here. And there was the wonderful memory of him at the 16th, having driven it way right and coming across for his birdie. And the wonderful way he played the last round, in particular when he won at Lytham for the 2nd time. That was actually a Monday finish again because of wet weather. But I think the memory at St Andrews of the great Sebi moment on the last green is the one that will stay with me. And I think the Open Championship actually defined Sebi in his career. It went on later to be Ryder Cup and so on, but he was a charismatic player and was very instrumental in the great resurgence of European golf. And I think the European professional players have a great deal to thank him for. As indeed they do Tony Jacklin, because it was in 1969 that he won here, and I think that was the first time that people thought, my gosh, maybe European golfers can beat the Americans and the Australians after all. And I have to say that, if you're asking me, was actually my favourite Open moment, because I was in my early 20s at the time, and it had been beaten into us how good the Americans were, and we were hopeless. But I think Tony started to turn the tide, and that was a great moment.
You must miss Sebi.
Oh yeah, he was wonderful, wonderful chap, and I went to his funeral actually in Spain, and goodness me, the turnout was colossal. So he was not just popular in the world of golf, he was also the local people there turned out in such huge numbers, and it was a very simple service. And I think that we were there seeing his roots, if you like, and where he travelled from out into the wide world to play the game of golf. We'll all miss him, that's for sure.
Just before you go, I must just ask you about the Olympics, because I know you're a big advocate of golf at the Olympics. How excited are you about it coming to Rio in 2016?
Well, very. Golf was in the Games in 1900 and 1904 and fell away. And the driving force for this was actually all of the countries that, or many of them at least, that are affiliated to the R&A. And these national golf associations said to us, look, if you can get golf into the Olympic Games, it will revolutionise government support and interest in the sport in our country. And clearly it was the biggest grow the game opportunity available to golf, and already we're seeing, even though golf hasn't been played yet until 2016, already we're seeing massively increased government support for the game, particularly in Eastern Europe and Asia, where golf's relatively new. And I think the benefits of this are going to work through really quite quickly.
Good, excellent. Well, listen, thanks again for sparing the time, Peter. We've all enjoyed it so far. It looks like it's going to be, certainly the way the leaderboard is shaping up, looks like it's going to be a classic Open Championship.
It really does. We've got some of the world's top names. The course is obviously, with the rain, a bit soft. That may be just favouring the Americans and the way the sort of golf they're accustomed to. Greens are a little quicker today, which again is more in line with American course setup. But
that's down to your guys, because they've cut them quicker, haven't they?
It surely is.
Well, we might get a bit of breeze on Sunday.
A bit of breeze on Sunday, I think, will help separate the field. So it's going to be a very exciting weekend.
Great.
Thank you very much for joining us.